This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
The time right now is 4:27. Here it is Monday morning. Thanks for starting your day with us here on Good Morning Indiana. I'm Lauren Casey.
And I'm Meredith Barrick. Some good news on the coronavirus front. Testing for COVID-19 is now available for free to any Hoosier. You do not have to have symptoms to be tested.
That's right. So you can go to one of the hundreds of testing sites around the state that are available right now to get tested. If you're a Hoosier, if you work in the Hoosier state, again, you don't have to have symptoms, but you do need to have an appointment. So before you head out there, make sure you make that appointment. You need to bring your insurance information. However, they're saying that people won't be charged for these tests. You can see they do some swabs there. This is what you can expect, and hopefully this will help with the contact tracing, with keeping people from spreading this. So we'll be updating you on the latest COVID numbers coming up during the show.
We also want to update you. Many parents wondering if school will resume in-person classes this fall. We do know one district, Brownsburg, has just announced classes will begin in person on July 30th. The superintendent letting us know that they made plans. They went through the Hendricks County Department of Health, so they have that all laid out for when students return on July 30th. We do expect to see more schools and more districts start to roll out their plans here in the coming weeks.
Yeah, and some of the plans include options for virtual school for students who may be in those high-risk categories. So we'll kind of break down what that means, and I'm sure we'll start to see more schools bring out those plans soon as we get more into the summer months. So right now, we do want to take a turn right now to Alyssa Donovan. Alyssa, the weekend was perfect. It wasn't too hot. It was beautiful. What can we expect as we start a brand new work week?
So we have a little bit more of the same to start out. We're starting mild this morning with those temperatures in the 50s, but we are going to see plenty of sunshine throughout the day. A little bit more cloud coverage by this afternoon, but besides that, sunshine is really the key as we start our work week. Temperatures today climbing into the upper 70s. And looking ahead to the rest of the week, we're going to continue this slow build. Temperatures will climb into the upper 80s by Thursday. Plenty of sunshine and dry conditions. There is a small chance of some showers and storms as we head into the weekend. I'll have those details in just a few minutes.
All right, Alyssa, thank you so much. We do have another story for you today. Our Kelsey Anderson is going to be breaking down how you can help feed Indiana families. And all you have to do is go to the grocery store. We are teaming up with Second Helpings and Kroger stores across central Indiana to help people round up their bills or maybe make a donation to Second Helpings. That money will go directly to Hoosiers who are in need. And we know right now, during this COVID-19 pandemic, the need is great. So we'll tell you everything you need to do, how long this lasts. That's coming up right here on Good Morning Indiana.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Downtown Indianapolis filled with peaceful protesters this weekend with calls for change in police policy. Their message as another police shooting investigation sparks outrage across the nation.
2 local school districts have announced that they are ready to resume in-person classes this fall when they plan to be in session and the options they are giving students to stay safe.
And WRTV, Kroger, and Second Helpings are working together to make sure more people in central Indiana have access to food options during the pandemic. How you can help during your trip to the grocery store. It is 4:30 on your Monday morning. Thanks for starting your week with us. I'm Meredith Barrick.
And I'm Lauren Casey. We have Alyssa Donovan in the house this morning. Alyssa, it is great to see you. What can we expect in today's forecast?
Yeah, I'm kind of excited to be in the studio this morning and doing the weather. We are going to see a really nice start to the week. Todd made it nice and easy for me to come back and do the weather this morning. 54 to start our day. We're starting kind of cooler than we typically are this time of year, just a couple degrees. So you'll notice that as you step outside. We're going to see clear skies to start. High pressure is in control to start our week, and it's going to stay that way through most of the week. That's going to give us plenty of sunshine today. We could see just a little bit of cloud coverage by this afternoon. We have this low just off to the east. That's going to sneak into Indianapolis as we head into the afternoon and early evening hours. Mostly going to impact the eastern portion of the state, bringing us a little bit more cloud coverage and maybe a stray isolated shower for eastern portions. Most of us, though, are are going to stay dry today. Starting in the 50s this morning, climbing into the upper 70s this afternoon with a little bit of cloud coverage. We have temperatures in the 90s this week. I'll have those details in just a few minutes.
All right, Alyssa, thank you. Let's take a look right now at traffic as you're heading out on the roads. This is our INDOT traffic camera at I-465 and I-69. You can see traffic is moving along up to speed in all directions there. Right now around the metro area, no crashes to slow you down. So let's take one more look before we get into our top stories today. This is I-465 and West 38th Street, the northwest side, where things are moving up to speed. Everything's pretty quiet. We'll continue to keep you updated if there are any areas you need to avoid this morning.
Peaceful protests continued in downtown Indianapolis this weekend. Dozens filled the steps on Monument Circle, maintaining the call for change. An alumni chapter of the Delta Sigma Theta sorority organized Sunday's demonstration. They carried signs and walked from the city-county building to Monument Circle. Many families participated, fighting for new police policies and a more promising future.
I'm out here marching today because I have 3 black sons and they matter. And I want to see my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren. I want to see them live. I want to see them have a successful future. I want them to show the world that they are not a threat.
Protesters also called for transparency in the investigation into Drejon Reed's death. A prayer vigil was held later in the evening. Now, 3 weeks have passed since George Floyd was killed in police custody, and protests throughout the nation continue over police brutality.
Now, a police shooting in Atlanta on Friday has sparked more outrage. John Lawrence reports.
A large crowd disrupting traffic on an Atlanta interstate Sunday night. They're protesting Friday's fatal police shooting of Rayshard Brooks. Police found Brooks asleep in his car at a Wendy's drive-thru. After a sobriety test, an officer tries to arrest him.
Put your hands on your back.
Brooks resists and there is a scuffle. Witness video shows Brooks taking a taser from police, and surveillance video shows him shooting it toward an officer. He was then shot by police and taken to a hospital where he was pronounced dead.
We know he was shot twice in the back, once in his mid-back and once in his buttocks, and those shots ended up killing him.
An autopsy report lists the 27-year-old's death as a homicide.
I watched the interaction with Mr. Brooks, and it broke my heart. This was not confrontational.
The day after the shooting, protesters set fire to the Wendy's where Brooks was killed, and Officer Garrett Rolfe, who police say shot Brooks, was terminated. The other officer at the scene is on administrative duty. In addition to Atlanta, there were calls for police reform in numerous other cities, including Washington, D.C., New York, and Miami.
These deaths will not be in vain. There's a movement across this country, and it is changing all of our cities.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Now to our continuing coverage of the COVID-19 outbreak. After this weekend, Indiana is now reporting nearly 40,000 total cases since the pandemic began. The State Department of Health reporting 17 new deaths on Saturday, 9 on Sunday. There were more than 800 new cases confirmed over those 2 days. More than 348,000 people have been tested for the virus so far. 11.5% of those tests have come back positive. Starting today, COVID-19 testing will be available to all Hoosiers, even if you're not experiencing symptoms. The state is slowly relaxing its testing rules and announced this big change of policy on Friday. Now, as long as you live or work in Indiana, you can get tested at one of the hundreds of sites across the state.
We recognize that this is a significant change from our focus on high-risk individuals and those who are symptomatic. But our testing capacity has improved significantly since the start of this pandemic, and we want Hoosiers to take advantage of that.
You can call 888-634-1116, or you can visit the Indiana State Department of Health's website to make an appointment at one of the Optum Serve sites across the state. You will not be charged for testing, but if you do have insurance, you need to bring that information with you.
The city-county building will partially reopen today for criminal court appearances and police services. All other city and county agencies will reopen June 22nd. Juvenile courts will reopen July 6th, while traffic court will continue to operate remotely for the foreseeable future. Entrances on Market, Delaware, and Washington streets will be open with security checkpoints at each. The city will require face coverings for everyone entering the city-county building. Reusable face coverings will be available for people who do not have one.
2 local school districts say they will be ready to reopen to students this fall. Brownsburg School Superintendent says Hendricks County health officials approved the town's plans to reopen schools, and students will begin the school year on on time. That's late July with an online option available. The plan will allow schools to open July 30th with in-person classes 5 days a week. An online option for kindergarten through 8th grade will be available for students with medical conditions that prohibit them from returning to school. Monroe County Community School Corporation down in Bloomington says it is also ready to return to school next year. The district made the announcement on Facebook saying it will begin in-person classes planned on August 5th. Like Brownsburg schools, they will also provide an online class option. The district says they will have more updates as they finalize plans.
Starting today, WRTV is teaming up with Kroger and Second Helpings to raise money and feed Indiana families. COVID-19 and recent events the past few weeks have created unprecedented challenges for many communities. From June 15th, that's today, to the 21st, shoppers can go to select Central Indiana Kroger stores and round up or make a donation of their choice at checkout. The money will go directly to Second Helpings and getting meals in the hands of those struggling to put food on the table. Demand for food assistance is nearly double what it was before the pandemic, often from people who never imagined they would need it.
We want to eliminate hunger in Kroger communities, and right now the need for that kind of support is greater than it's ever been. We know there are people who are coming to Second Helpings asking for help, people who've never needed help before. So we're trying to do everything we can to support that work and support the people of our communities.
Working together, WRTV and the Scripps Howard Foundation will match up to $12,000 of donations made. Every day, WRTV works to shine a light on urgent needs created by the pandemic and is committed to helping those struggling to make ends meet. We encourage you to shop at participating Central Indiana Kroger stores and make a donation or donate online at secondhelpings.org. For more ways to help your community, you can visit theindychannel.com/rebound.
Another company here in Indianapolis is working together to offer healthcare workers free lawn care services. The co-founder of the business Plows and Mows says the app is like Uber, but it's for lawn care. Healthcare workers just need to type in the code HERO when they check out on the app, and they'll receive a free lawn care service of up to $60.
It's heartwarming to get the feedback saying, hey, this was so nice that I was able to spend the 2 hours that I would have mowed my lawn to sit home and spend time with my kids, etc. So it's been very encouraging for our company.
Plows and Mows connects customers with local landscapers. They say by using their app, it also helps these local small businesses that are facing challenges during the pandemic.
Thousands of pounds of ground beef are now being recalled from Walmart. Working for you, what you need to know about multiple brands with E. coli concerns. And
the number of people testing positive for COVID-19 is up in nearly half the country, while health experts are saying 22 states are seeing a spike in cases. Alyssa.
And we are going to see a beautiful start to our week. Temperatures starting a little cool this morning into the upper 70s this afternoon. Mostly sunny skies. More of this as we head through the work week. All of the details coming up next.
Hiring Hoosiers only on RTV6.
The time right now is 4:42. Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana on this Monday morning. Here's a live look at your west side commute. I-465, a camera here near Rockville Road. Everything's traveling smoothly northbound and southbound. No crashes, no delays in this area to slow down your commute.
We have a recall alert for you this morning. A New Jersey meat processing company is recalling nearly 43,000 pounds of ground beef sold at Walmart stores around the country. There's concern about possible E. coli contamination. The affected products were produced on June 1st and sold under the Thomas Foods International and Market-Side Butcher labels. Customers should either throw the meat away or return the packages. For more information, you can call the Lakeside Processing Center at 856-832-3881.
At 4:43, there are new surges in coronavirus numbers. At least 22 states and Puerto Rico showing a rise in the infections. Meanwhile, 8 states have a rise in hospitalizations. Still others are continuing plans to reopen. ABC's Alex Brochet has more from Washington.
This morning, more reopenings. New Jersey, the latest state to enter a new phase, allowing non-essential retail and outdoor dining. But across the country, coronavirus cases are on the rise. At least 22 states and Puerto Rico have an increase in new reported cases. That includes Arizona. There have been 1,200 new cases since Saturday. Now, some Phoenix bars and restaurants are closing down for a second time. In Utah, COVID-19 is disproportionately affecting the Latino community. They're 14% of the population, but make up 42% of the cases. Florida set another record, reporting 2,000 cases in 24 hours for the second day in a row. The governor there saying an outbreak among farm workers and increased testing in nursing homes is partially behind the surge in numbers.
We're doing 3 times as many tests a day now than we did at the end of March.
The mayor of Key West citing some of the crowded beaches.
I have a concern there. We would certainly like to welcome in all of our tourism, but we would like it to be respectful and responsible.
8 states have seen an increase in hospitalizations.
We don't yet know what our peak is.
Texas and Arizona set new hospitalization records. Long testing lines like this backed up over the weekend. New York State is seeing its lowest number of hospitalizations and deaths since the pandemic began. But images like this over the weekend have drawn criticism from the governor.
A bar or restaurant that is violating these rules can lose their liquor license. We are not kidding around with this. You're talking about jeopardizing people's lives.
Also, 2 Big Ten schools say they'll have students on campus this fall. Yesterday, both Penn State and the University of Wisconsin announced plans to reopen with students. Alex Perche, ABC News, Washington.
Fraudsters have been using every platform to steal money for COVID-19 related reasons, but right now texting is what they're targeting. The people behind Text Killer, a new free app that blocks scam messages, say they've flagged thousands of texts. Recent fake messages have focused on contact tracing and other virus information. If you get a text like this, don't reply thinking you're unsubscribing. That just confirms to the scammer that your number is active. The FTC says people have lost more than $59 million combined from COVID-19 related scams.
The Surgeon General is pushing back on the idea that face coverings infringe on freedoms. Dr. Jerome Adams tweeting on Sunday saying that if more people wear them, we'll have more freedom to go out. He said the masks lead to less asymptomatic spread of the virus, which will allow more places to open sooner and improve the economy. Early guidance from U.S. officials did not recommend face coverings, but the CDC later said in April that it would help in places like grocery stores where social distancing is hard to maintain.
Major League Baseball has until the end of the day today to inform the Players Union of its plans for this season. Over the weekend, 2 agencies continued to butt heads over the number of games and players' salaries. Baseball players told the commissioner's office additional talks to start the season during the coronavirus pandemic are, quote, futile, and said owners should order a return to work. The union's actions could lead to a season of about 50 games instead of the 82 initially proposed. That would make this season the shortest since the 1870s. Here at 4:47, we want to hand things over to Alyssa Donovan. Some good weather to look forward to today, Alyssa.
Yeah, we're going to see some beautiful weather today. Really just a continuation of the pleasant weather that we saw over the weekend. Those temperatures are going to climb into the upper 70s, so just a little bit below average for this time of year. But as we head through the week, we are going to see a warming trend, and that heat is going to make a quick return as we head into next weekend. That's also when we're going to see a possibility of some storms. It's also the official start of summer as we head into Saturday evening, and it's really going to feel like it by then. Temperatures this morning starting a little cooler than average. We're in the mid-50s in Indianapolis, a little cooler to the north in Kokomo, into the upper 40s. Clear skies right now, so that's allowed us to cool down overnight. We haven't had any of those clouds to insulate us. It's going to stay that way as we head through the day as well. Clear skies are going to continue. High pressure is in control today, but you can see off to our east, we do have this small disturbance that's going to make its way in as we head into the afternoon. So starting with that sunshine this morning, sunshine by the noon hour, and then by the afternoon and early evening, we will see a little bit more cloud coverage for the eastern portion of the state. Can't rule out an isolated light shower for extreme eastern counties as well, just as we see a little bit of convection with that system. Besides that, though, most of us are going to stay dry today and stay dry for most of the week. So what's going on is we have that high pressure in control. We're going to see a bit of a zonal flow as we head into the next couple days. That's going to allow some heat to build in from the west. So temperatures today starting into the upper 70s, then we'll climb into the mid-80s tomorrow, staying in the upper 80s by Thursday, and then Friday we do hit those 90s, and we're going to stay in the 90s for the weekend. Today, however, it's going to be a nice, pleasant day. Cooler start, temperatures in the 50s, staying in the 70s by the noon hour, upper 70s later this afternoon, with maybe a little bit more cloud coverage later today, but we are going to start with plenty of sunshine. Looking at the rest of the week, temperatures continue that warming trend into the upper 80s by Thursday, but you can see plenty of sunshine in the forecast. We'll see some hit and miss clouds here and there throughout the work week, just as a few disturbances come close to Indiana. But for the most part, we'll see plenty of sunshine. That heat really builds in on Friday. That's when we are climbing back into the lower 90s rather. And then we do have that potential of some storms Saturday and Sunday as we start to build in a little bit of humidity with that forecast.
All right, Alyssa, thanks so much. Let's take a look at traffic as you're heading out on the roads this Monday morning. Let's head up to the north side. This is I-465 near Ditch Road. You can see traffic there is moving along just fine, both eastbound and westbound. No delays to slow you down. So let's take you down south of downtown. This is I-65 at Keystone Avenue. This is a long-term ongoing construction project on the bridge there. The ramp and the ramp system over Keystone Avenue. Be aware we still have traffic shifting in place this week, especially if you're in the northbound side. Be prepared to shift over to the southbound side and then back to the northbound side. So take it slow as you head through that area. Watch for any workers out there during the daytime hours.
With the country shifting to mail-in voting amid the pandemic, blind voters are worried about their privacy. Many have raised concerns about trusting the person filling out their ballot to do it correctly. Advocates for the blind have taken legal action in 3 states. They want blind voters to have access to systems used by overseas soldiers that vote electronically. That way, blind voters can use their own computers and assistive technology to read and fill out those ballots themselves.
Musical superstar Beyonce Knowles Carter is joining in the calls for changes in the killing of Breonna Taylor with a letter. She wrote the letter to the Kentucky Attorney General saying the officers involved should face prosecution, and she wants the Louisville Police Department to be investigated over this incident. Police killed 26-year-old Taylor during a no-knock warrant raid on the wrong apartment. Beyonce says these actions would, quote, demonstrate the value of a black woman's life. Well, more artists are using the streets as their choice of canvas during this movement. In Brooklyn, the words Black Lives Matter were painted in yellow letters along Fulton Street. Across the country in Hollywood, a similar mural was painted on the popular LA Boulevard. That message reads, quote, all Black Lives Matter, and it was written in rainbow, showing solidarity with the black members of the LGBTQ community. The street mural trend began in Washington, D.C., where the words were painted near Capitol Hill.
An airport in New York is offering travelers personal protection equipment using a vending machine. How it works and the cutting-edge technology that makes it safe to use after the break.
And some Indiana casinos are now hours away from reopening their doors. Coming up at 5 o'clock, what you need to know before you start placing your bets. Time right now is 4:51. Stick around. We'll be right back. The time right now is 4:55. Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. Here's a live look on the Near East Side, a view of the city skyline there in the background. You can see traffic on I-70 here at Rural Street and Keystone Avenue is moving along smoothly. No issues to slow you down.
A Long Island airport is giving travelers a convenient way to get the proper PPE for their flight. A vending machine has everything from masks to hand sanitizers and wipes at MacArthur Airport. Customers don't have to worry about safety when touching the machine either. Officials say a Silver Defender adhesive has been applied to all surfaces to deactivate bacteria and viruses. The airport has also installed an air and surface purification system. MacArthur is reportedly the first airport in the nation to have all 3 cutting-edge technologies. What is an airport? I have not been to one of those in what feels like forever. Wouldn't you guys agree?
I know. I feel like we haven't traveled, haven't left the Hoosier State in what feels like forever.
Yeah, well, hopefully sooner rather than later, people will get to the skies and onto a new destination. But the good news is we don't need to travel for better weather, right, Alyssa?
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth. It's going to be beautiful this week. You're not going to want to go anywhere. Today, we are going to see those temperatures climbing into the upper 70s. So really an extension of what we saw this weekend. Just sunny and pleasant conditions, low humidity, really just a great day for June. And then we'll continue this warming trend as we head through the rest of the week. Those temperatures climbing into the mid-80s tomorrow, staying into the 80s by Thursday, and then that heat really builds in Friday. We're into the 90s, small chance of storms as we head into the weekend.